Hi Mary, how are you? Mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, hi Krishnambal. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, Mary. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yes, Mary. Yes, we can get started maybe in another minute.
Sorry? 1 minute.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining on time. I see 28 of you who have joined already. So it will be great if you can let us know about yourself. I mean, where are you from? How many years of experience do you have with OutSystems? While others join. So yeah. And Mary, once again, thank you. Thank you so much for initiating this session and for the topic suggestion.
Uh,
I now that I got the opportunity to explore Agent Workbench because of this session, I got to learn a lot out of this initiative.
okay. Yeah, thanks, Krishnambal. Yeah, so this is one of the important topic system is bringing, right? So agentic AI feature. So and yeah, there is a training is also available. But yeah, in this session and the especially the next session, so the planning to cover. What are the challenges may come, how we can, what are the best practices we have to follow while sending the grounding data or being it a prompt, right? And also, by how we you can send the image to the agent. So this is the recent future out system released, I think 1 month back. So how you can send the image to the agent, how you can process the image, and you can do the activity based upon that. So and what are the challenges you may face while passing the image, because each model the way of sending the binary data is different, right? So how you can overcome that, so those things we are planning to cover in this session. So yeah, definitely. So it's more than so whatever we learned in the agentic training, right? So, maybe you will understand more in this session, like the real use cases, and maybe especially the how to send the images and how you can call the function, call the action tool calling, right? So how you can do that in agentic workbench. So all these things you can learn from this session. I hope audience will love it and they will learn something from this series.
Definitely, Mary. So, Mary, would you be preferring to start with the introduction or shall we directly jump on to the
Yeah, maybe just
session?
to just one, so why agent workbench, right? So yeah, we have a lot of other options also. Even we can directly consume the REST API, whatever coming from OpenAI or any model, right? We can directly consume it. So why agent workbench? So before that we had agent, now also we are having agent builder. So what advantages agent builder is bringing over the REST API? So if you see the REST API, right? So whatever prompt you are passing, and the model, even if you use a site property for putting the model and everything, but you have to test it, right? So for testing, you have to create some screen and keep on. You have to change the prompt. So a lot of publish needs to be happened. So the development time is more if you go for REST API. So that problem only overcome by agent builder, right? So in agent builder, we can put some prompt, then and there only we can see how the output will look like. You can play around with the prompt immediately and you can get the result, and you can set the prompt and keep your agent ready, right? And you can also add the data in the agent builder. Okay, so that is there, right? So why then agent workbench? So if you see the agent builder, you will get a server action. So you have to consume that server action, and then you can use it. Yes, when the production, maybe if you want to change, you can change it. You can modify the agent, but the data, right? Coming to the data, so that data you will not have more control, because you will set up the data. You can even, yeah, you can consume the, you can add the external DB data or out system data, but you will not have a control on it. For example, what if, right, I want to have a um, separate place. I will have a start node, end node. I will, maybe I want to create a custom structure. I want to mash up the data from different sources. From maybe for one source, I want to, take two columns. From one source, I want to take two columns, and I want to combine and I create a structure list. And that one I want to pass it to the agent, and it will act as a grounding data. So that thing we can't achieve in the agent builder. So for a simple use case or moderate use case, yes, agent builder is a very good tool. But if you are going for enterprise solution, right, so for enterprise level, you should have a control of, sometimes you have to mash up the data from different sources, right? And that time, I think agent workbench plays a major role, because you will get a separate asset, right? So you will get a separate asset. You can consume anything like external DB, or even with REST API, you can consume it, and whatever changes you want to do, you can do it, and you can publish it. And the agent will be, it's a service action, right? So it's a loosely coupled. So even if your app is in production, you want to do some changes in the grounding data, or you want to modify the agent, so without disturbing the consumer, you can just change the agent, and automatically it will be taken care. And apart from that, here we are having tool calling and other functions as well. Like, you can, agent can do some activities also, not only like gen A with this thing, right? Like, you will give something, it will give some response. It's not like that. It can do some action also. So here, in terms of governance, in terms of logging, right? Like, even you will get a logs separately in the ODC portal. Even you can check the quality of the code separately in the ODC portal. So here we are having lot of advantage. So that's the advantage of agent workbench. So yeah, over to you, Krishnambal. So Krishnambal will show us how we can create a agent using agent workbench. Over to you, Krishnambal.
Sure, sure, Mary. Thank you so much for the insight. Mary, I just have a couple of questions, maybe to ask you. So, have we already started using Agent Workbench in customer projects which are already in ODC?
Um, so the customers are exploring it. Yes, many
Mm.
customers are exploring the agent workbench, and it's not like my knowledge, they have not used completely, but it's in a pilot mode, so they are keep on enhancing it. But yeah, so compared to when we had a agent builder and all, right, so now I can see it's like the development is also becoming very fast and
Yeah,
easily they are scaling up and other things. No, it's very easy when it's coming to agent workbench. But yeah, many people are exploring the agent workbench. Yeah.
I completely agree with you, Mary. With AI Agent Builder, all we get is a drop down where we have to choose a data source,
Yes.
where we have to choose an AI model and then it provides a response. That's it. But
Yes.
here, like you rightly said, we can orchestrate, we get logs, we can
Yes.
mash data, we can write logics on the data source. So
Yes.
I completely agree. And I feel Agent Workbench is something which will add a true value when it comes to building agents. Plus, another important fact, Mary, now that I know I'm just exploring a lot on both high code, OutSystems, and other paradigms of low code platforms. Most of the platforms promise that they are agentic AI, but we end up building only generative AI agents. So
Mhm.
nothing but we integrate to OpenAI or Gemini and we build chat assistants.
Yes.
But when I explored AI Workbench and the fact that you can orchestrate many agents by an orchestrator agent that automatically takes decisions, I was mind blown.
Yes.
And I guess that is something that all of us will definitely be interested to explore. Now, Mary, since the functionalities of Agent Workbench is like it's a long list. So for this session, we will keep it really crisp in focusing on building our first agent with Agent Workbench, and we will what we are going to do is just what exactly is the platform providing out of the box. We'll be exploring that agent simply. Secondly, we'll be trying to provide it a prompt and then see how its behavior changes. Then we will also be trying to run it memoryless and with memory. And then we will be providing a sample data as as a data source to the agent, and we'll see how it will answer. So
Oh,
that these are the four things that we are going to see as part of this demo. And after that, yes, there is a quiz session. So yeah, just to keep the participants informed, the quiz, we will be going with the first come, first serve approach. So, since we are using a free version of Kahoot, there shall only be 40 participants allowed. So, the first 40 shall be participating in the Kahoot quiz at the end. Okay, and yeah, definitely there shall be swag kits that shall be rolled out. Now, maybe if we have Sri Lakshmi here, she can also add in. Okay, I don't see her here. Okay. Mary, and don't you feel it's a little not overwhelming, but I'm so happy to see 50 as the count. As in Chennai user group, we usually don't get this count, right?
yeah, yeah, yes. Happy to see more participants here. Yeah, so definitely this session will help you a lot. I hope that. Yeah, Krishna.
Sure, Mary. Okay, thank you. So I believe my screen is visible to all of you. I'm just opening ODC Studio. Okay. Fine then. So to start with, definitely a community version of Agent Workbench is available to all of you in the personal edition that you might have got access to. The personal edition of ODC Studio, by the way. Now, like Mary said, AI Agent Builder, it can be used to build basic agents, basic generative AI agents, and and you can consider AI Agent Builder more of a no-code platform, right? But with OutSystems interface, we definitely have a low code way where you can, like we were discussing with Agent Workbench, you can do orchestration, data governance, build enterprise level agents, all that, right? So let's see how can we do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply go and click on this create option, and I'm going to click on Agentic app. And I'll try my best to wrap the session by 4 p.m. Okay, I don't think so. We will need till 4:30. Let's see. So firstly, I'll create a simple agent. I'll say, okay, and then I have an image, a nice image to upload. Okay. So there are two, and one more thing, with OutSystems Community Edition is this good that you don't even have to add any models or any keys to it. It by default it provides you trial models. At least for the initial stages, it is more than good to explore. So I'm going to use Sonnet model to start with to create my agent. Now this model you can anytime change this model, whatever the agent uses, even after publishing your agent anytime. By I'll show you that maybe in some point in time. So the agent is getting created. Okay, fine. So as soon as you create an agent, this is what you see. You see a service action, right, called agent flow, which contains a sequence of activities that typically is performed by an agent. Now, before getting into this, I would like to ask you, maybe you can think in your mind, when you think of an agent, what are the major aspects you that comes to your mind? For an agent to convert an input to an output, what are the things it could mean? Can think? Okay. Maybe I can, I can let you guys know. So, firstly, a data source, right? Or you firstly have to communicate to the agent what exactly is it expected to do, right? That is the first thing. And then if it has to do something based on a data source, then the data source is also important. Thirdly, if it's going to be a straightforward assistant, then there will be user message which will be given as input, and based on the data source, it has to return an answer as output. Okay, for the user's question. So as soon as I open the agent flow service action, I see these four sections. So the grounding data section, it corresponds to the data source which the agent has to refer to and answer the user's question. So if you open it, there wouldn't be much. You will just get a prompt that says you can call aggregates, you can call AI search services, REST API, static text, whatnot. From here, whatever the source that provides the data referring to which the agent has to answer your question, all that will go inside the grounding data node. So let me go back. Then comes the build message node. So build message node is nothing but okay, well, let's do one thing. Let me publish this agent as such. Now that I haven't done anything, I'll simply publish it. I'll see what it does. So we have done nothing. We simply created an agent. We chose a model and now I'm clicking on publishing. But before getting into the nitty-gritties of each node, we'll just see what the agent does out of the box without any custom logic. Okay, good to see participants from Philippines. Welcome, Mr. Jaramil, Ashish, oh, Mr. Bruno. Okay. So I have published it. Now I see I came across this really, really insightful and a very, very handy feature that OutSystems has offered, which is creating a test app to test your agent. So when I click on test agent in an app, let me click on create test app, let me click on create app. So if I have to test an agent, imagine what are the things I may have to do manually, which is to design or to develop a chat interface which has a message input, which has a send button. Right clicking on the send button, the agent has to be called, and then when the agent is thinking about the answer, there has to be proper EUI loader, or there has to be NS waiting state to be properly updated. So there are many things, right? But what OutSystems does is if I simply click on test agent in an app, and when I click on go to app, OutSystems would have automatically created everything for me. So including I see a chat interface here, it would have created a chat interface which has everything, be it the basic way of loading a chat assistant, right? A placeholder message, a waiting state that, as you can see here, a placeholder for it, and an empty state already added. Now, when I expand this chat, so what does it actually comprise? Let's see that real quick. So in addition, if you do not want to directly go for a test app, but in case if you wish to develop it by yourself, you can. So there is a chat blog that OutSystems readily provides that all of you can make use of. So yeah. So if you expand the chat widget, sorry, the chat screen, you see this option called on send message, and it has these many logics, and I see our agent being called here. So you don't even have to call the agent that you just created. So you simply created an agent. Now when you clicked on test agent, it created a test agent for you. And within it, it automatically calls your agent also. So I didn't do anything. All I did was just click on create test app, and OutSystems has created everything for me. Now we will see what this agent does and all of it maybe in some time, but whatever OutSystems has readily provided us, let's test what it does. Okay. So I'm publishing the test app. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to drop that as a message in our chat box. Hatimeri here shall be taking that up. Now let me open the. So this is what our assistant looks like. I didn't build any UI, nothing. OutSystems automatically created a test app for me, so I'm just going to test it. I'm just going to say hi. Okay, and it says, hello, how can I assist you today? So if you see, I did not do anything, not even adding a model. Whatever OutSystems readily provides, I just ran it, and this is what you see here. You have an interface, and you have a fully functional agent that can provide you sensible response. So this is the first cut that what I wanted to show you, which is what OutSystems readily does, readily provides. Now let me, let's do one thing. Let's debug what this what this test app actually does. So when I click on send message, let me add a breakpoint here. Let me start debugging. So the platform provides us pretty much everything, but it's very, very essential for us to understand what goes behind this easy looking application creation. There is a lot of logics involved, although we will not get into everything, but we will see on a high level what exactly is happening, at least in the test app level. So when I send a message, a simple message, say, hi, how are you? When I click on send, the control goes here. I am in the on send message action. So that to the on send message action, we are passing the message that the user had entered as an input parameter. So let me go next. Is waiting for response. It is true. And in the message we have, the message is again a structure. As you can see, it has a content, date time is user. So this message was provided by the user. That's why is user will be true. If I expand it, now you also see a structure called conversation, right? This is conversation is nothing but series of messages. It's nothing but a list of messages. So if you go to structured conversation, you'll be able to explore all that. So a conversation, it has a GUID. Conversation, you can think it more like a session. In one session, you may have 10 to 15 to and fro conversations, right? So if you expand chat history is nothing but a list of chat messages. So whatever the user enters, I'll be appending it to my conversation chat history. That's what happens first. List append user. Once that is done, you're doing this UI experience leverage where you are scrolling to the bottom or the latest message. Now I'm generating a session ID. What is it? So in order to understand that whatever the conversation that I'm going to have, say, I say, hi, how are you? The agent replies saying, yes, I'm good. What can I assist you with? And I get a response. So this is nothing but one session, correct? This conversation is nothing but one session. So how will I know that these conversations belongs to one session and whatever I'm going to converse with this agent tomorrow, that has to be dealt as a different session. So how can I do that? So that is being tracked by this field called session ID. So if I open Agent Workbench, right? If let me quickly show you. So this is the agent that we just created now. Okay, via Agent Workbench. Now, if you check the inputs that the agent needs, one is the user input, which is nothing but the message that the user sends. The second is the session ID. So you have to pass a session ID every time you call an agent. That is what we are doing. So what session ID can I pass? So for that, we are generating a unique ID, unique GUI ID. So if you get into generate session ID, you will see a simple generate GUID server action, which generates a unique GUID and it assigns it to your conversation. So this is the generated GUID. Go back. So to the conversation, if there is no GUID, then create a new one. If there is already one, then you do not have to create a new one. You just stick to the same. So for the upcoming conversations that's going to happen after hi, how are you? I'm not going to generate a new GUID. All of the other upcoming conversations are going to have the same GUID that just got generated now. So only when I close this session and I open a new session again, a new GUID will be created. Then this is where our actual agent is called. Let's get into this server action. Can you see call agentic workbench OS UG? This is the service action that is being called, which we have defined here. This is the action. This is the service action that is consumed by our web app agentic workbench. It is being called and it requires two input. Now you may be wondering what are these two inputs? Did I create? No, I did not create any of it. All of it were created by OutSystems. I'm just trying to understand what exactly is happening here. Now let me go to the next step. The agent runs. It takes some time for the agent to respond. See, the agent has responded with a message. This shall be the response. Now let me go to the next step. Now there is a separate list maintained for response. No, not the separate list, but in the same conversation, I guess we are appending the response that the agent provided. So if you check the conversation chat history, you will find two entries. One was, "Hi, how are you? At this time, by is user true?" The other one was, "Hello, I'm doing well, daytime false." Is user false because this is the response that we have created, we are getting from the agent. That's why is user field is false. Okay. And this conversation, all these list of to and from messages, they all will have one common GUID. Okay. Now let's go. Waiting for response will be false now. The loader, upon this Boolean being true or false, the loader will stop. As you can see that we have arrived onto the response. So this is what is happening in the ready-made test application that OutSystems generates for you in order to test your agent. Okay. Now let's move on. Let me just stop the debugger. Let me go back. Now it's time for us to provide some context to our agent. Okay, so let's do that real quick. So I'm not going to, readily start by providing a data source. All I'm going to do is, so if you see the response, "Hi, how are you?" It simply tells me some general message, that is, "I'm doing well, thank you for asking," whatever. I want the agent to understand its purpose. What exactly is it supposed to do? I want the agent to understand that. So where can I configure that? Let me tell you. So I'm not going into get grounding data now. Let me disable this, and let me disable this too, or otherwise I'll copy this build message node and I'll keep it handy. Okay. Now I've gotten an error in build message. So what happens? Once the agent, unfortunately, I won't be able to, debug and show an agent to you. No, I'm not sure. So I'll show you. It isn't actually letting me provide an entry point to test an agent. Okay. So that's why I can't debug and show you this, but I can verbally walk you through what's happening. So when the agent will first get the data, the source data from get grounding data, which we are saying it would not be available now. So the agent has no data source to refer to, or whatever the response that the agent is going to provide is from the training, the data that it is trained by itself. So if I'm using Sonnet now, Claude Sonnet, whatever the data it knows, based on that, whatever the data with which it was trained, right, based on that, it will respond. There is no data source or RAG I'm performing here. So in build messages, what I'll do is, it says based on the grounding data and the user input, provide the responses is the expectation. Now I don't have any grounding data. So I have a prompt that says, this agent is nothing but a sales support agent that will help you in buying a car. So I'm going to add that prompt here. So you're a sales support bot for a car rental. Answer to the best of your ability, suggesting vehicles to rent and helping the salesperson to sell. Push vehicles that are sold list first, seconded by the best sellers in case the customer is offering assistance to sell. So this is a sales support agent. I'm done. Okay, I am done providing the context. I'm not going to touch the others. So this is the context. Now what will happen? I'm literally calling the AI model. Call trial Claude AI model from here. What am I passing? I'm passing the message. Now, what is the message? Typically, a message should have a system prompt, a user message, data source. Where exactly are all these being passed? I see only one input called messages. to call trial Claude 3.7 sonnet? The answer is if you open build message, this build message logic that OutSystems provides, it's really, really rich. So what it does is if there is any system message to be passed to the agent that says what exactly it is supposed to do, like the prompt that I added, right? You can add that system message even here. You are a helpful assistant. Instead of this, I can very well add the prompt that I just pasted in a grounding data here also. That agent will work just fine. Then has grounding data. In our case, there is no grounding data. So what we are doing is this entire logic, it builds this variable called message that will be passed to the AI model. Now, this message should have grounding data. So if there is grounding data, then that gets appended. If it has system message, that gets appended. The user question, that gets appended. Then memory. Now imagine this is the first time, hi, how are you? So there is no memory involved. But what if this is the 10th or 11th conversation I have? Then the agent must also remember all the 10 conversations that I've had with the agent before, right? So all these three have to be considered. One is the system prompt, the data source, the user message, and the chat history. So load memory is nothing but it is for the agent to remember the entire chat history and answer. Now, all these four sources are fetched and they are being appended to this one variable called messages. Okay, this list called messages, and that list is returned as output to the trial Claude 3.7 Sonnet agent. To the model, you pass this and the model returns an output. Then you have store memory. What is store memory? I'll let you know that. For now, I'll disable store memory. Okay, and you get a response. So all I have done is I've gone to build messages and I have just changed the grounding data text to a 3-line prompt. That's all. Let's publish. Let's see how this impacts the behavior of our agent that we've just created. Open there. Okay. Now I have published my agent. Now should I go and republish the test app? No. Since agents are being consumed as a service action, the agent workbench OACG test app, it is automatically refreshed as the prompt says, as the message says. So I'll go to the app and I'll go to the app. Let me refresh it. Okay. You say hi. As you can see here, since I've added the prompt, earlier it used to say, hi, I'm good. How may I assist you with? It was a very general message. Now the message has changed. It says, how can I assist you today with your car rental needs? I'm here to help you find a perfect vehicle, blah, blah. So I'm going to tell the agent that provide me a list of cars that I can purchase from. All these experiences, be it the loading thing, everything is provided by OutSystems out of the box. Based on the context, I should clarify sales support bot for a car rental, not a car dealership that sells vehicle. Okay. Tell me the list of. So I've asked the agent with the list of Volvo cars available. Which are best sellers, properly assist you with. I would need information which Volvo models are currently in your rental fleet. Provide me the general ones. Cost effective Volvo cars. Okay, it's a list of Volvo cars and sales support. I can suggest vehicles once you provide more details. Would you like me to help with general car rental recommendation? Yes, please. When I say yes, please, let's see what it responds. So can you see here? It provided me a message that says, I'll be happy to assist with cost effective whatever. As a sales support bot for a rental, I can help suggest vehicles once you provide more details. I'm designed to prioritize. Would you like me to help with general car rental recommendation based on budget consideration? It asked me this question. I said, yes, please. Now, since I have switched off the load memory node that you see here, the store memory that has been disabled now. Just because of this, when I say yes, please, the agent is not able to understand the context of my yes, please, because the conversation history is not being passed to the agent. It just has yes, please as the input. You are you are a sales bot as an input. That's all. With these two, it's trying to provide a response, which is not understanding what do I mean by yes, please, right? So this is what we are going to solve now. So what I'll do is I'll go and enable this element stored memory. So doing this, what will happen? The bot will understand or it will retain, it will have the memory about the conversation. So when I say yes, please, it will provide me a more relevant response that says it will, or it will typically go and say, it will list me or it will recommend me cars based on my budget considerations. Okay, so that's what it is supposed to do. Let's see. So now I've enabled stored memory. Let me click on publish. As you can see, there is an automatic scroll added, and as in when the conversation gets longer, it takes you to the last message. Okay, refresh. We'll have to check our inventory system for you to see what B&W options. In the meantime, this mopper. See, it's trying to deviate me from BMW. Will you check BMW or would you open to hearing about? I see these. See, it's suggesting me these. Now I'll simply give one. Let's see what it says. So can you see? When I said one, it was able to understand that I tried to mean Lincoln Continental, which is a luxury sedan. If there was no, if the store when if the stored memory node was disabled, then it would have wondered what one is, and it would have said, "I am not getting the context here. Could you please elaborate me? I'm a sales expert agent." So it would have given something very general, but now it was rightly able to understand that with one I mean the first option that was given as a response by the agent to my previous question. So that is the purpose of the in-memory node, stored memory node. So there are two things here. This is store memory, and there is a thing called load memory. So load memory is nothing but you will pass whatever the conversations whose session ID. Now, what exactly is happening in load and store memory? If you open, it's like it's creating an entity called memory, and the memory entity has these things: session ID, timestamp, role, contact. Let me open this to you. So, what will happen is As part of conversation history, it will fetch all those messages from the memory table whose session ID is the same as the session ID of my current message. That way, you'll know these are the conversations that happened in one session. And, as you can see, these are the different conversations. So all these are part of one session. So all these will be passed as input to the AI model. That's what is happening in load and store memory. Okay. Okay. Now it's time for us to leverage the grounding data node that we have in an agent. So what it is? Not all the time an agent can have, an agent can't answer from an open source set of data that it has, with which it was trained, right? Sometimes I expect the agent to answer based on my data. So since it's I imagine I would like to create a product analyst or a product assistant that helps the end user in answering his or her questions on a particular product that, say, for example, my shop offers. Then I should provide the agent access to the list of products, the inventory details, and all that. So, how can we do it? That's what we are going to see now. So I'm enabling the get grounding data node. Going to drag it and drop it here. So, what I'll do. Okay. Now let me open get grounding data. So I am going to build a different agent now. So I have an agent that is a product analysis agent that helps me with questions about my product. So for that, I need some entities, right, with which my agent has to refer to. So let me go and refer to the sample product entity that OutSystems provides. Yeah, this is the one that I need. So if you look into this entity, it has name, description, price, stock, max stock, all these. So I will fetch all the data that the sample product entity has via an aggregate called get products. Now I have this assignment statement that OutSystems provides by default. Now let me try assigning this list to to grounding data. As you can see, it's not recommending me. Let's see the format, input format of the data type of grounding data. It's a text. So what is grounding data? It's nothing but the content within all the data elements to be handed over to the AI model as context. Now I am getting a list, but I'm expected to pass this list as a text. So what I'll do, I'll go with a JSON serialize. With the help of this node, I'm going to convert this list to a series of text in the JSON format. Data will be get products.list, and whatever I get as output, I'm going to pass that as input to the grounding data variable. Okay, so with this, I'm done with the providing the contextual data that the agent needs in order to answer my question. Let me go back. Now I have one more thing to do. So you remember in build message node, how will it get access to the grounding data? So grounding data, it returns this output called grounding data, which I'm assigning to build message. So it's looking for grounding data as input. So to which I'm going to pass. Let me rename this maybe. So contextual data is the output of the first node, which is passed as input to the second node. But as you can see, my message grounding data, it was replaced with this 3-liner prompt as part of my previous demo. So I'll remove this. By default, this is the original build message. If you look into this build message, it will have grounding data. It will pass the previous node's output. So let me do the same here. I'll go here. I'll pass get grounding data dot contextual data. That way, whatever the context that is there, it will be passed to the build message node, where the ultimate message that is going to be sent to the AI model is created. That is it. I have set the context. Now there is nothing much I have to change. Right. One more thing. I have to now it is no longer a sales agent, but it's a product helper assistant, right? So where can I provide the context of its role? So let me open build messages. Do you see this thing called system message? So here I will replace this with my prompt. Instead of this, let me paste this. Okay, you are a product assistant. Answer user questions about any product clearly and concisely. Provide accurate details such as price, description, features, all of it. Let me close this. And that's all. With all this, my final message will be created. I mean, it will be populated and it will be passed to the AI model. Unfortunately, yeah, if I try debugging, I won't see an entry point. I am not seeing an entry point yet with which I'll be able to test this agent. So that's why I can't show you how it happens real time. Yeah, now that it has, mm, yeah, now that the publish is done, let me go back to the browser. Let me refresh the agent. Let me ask the agent, hi, how are you? So I'm here to help you with any product. Tell me the price of black headphones. Okay, it's providing me a response. It says black headphones cost 56.99. They feature a foldable design, all this. So how can we validate this answer that the agent has provided? So let's create a screen, okay, where we see the price of every product. So let's go to our web app. Let me go to the main flow. I will refer to the sample product entity that I referred from the agent. Add it. Okay. It would have created both the product screen and the product details screen. Let it be accessible to everyone. Okay. Publish. So once this is published, we will see the price of every product, description of it. We will validate if the response provided by the agent is correct or not with whatever that this table shows. Okay. Okay. Let me look for black headphones. As you can see, it says foldable design with high quality and performance. Price is $56.99. And that is exactly what our agent has also mentioned. So our agent is answering correctly. So with this, we have now covered all four aspects of our basic agent, which was what does OutSystems provide out of the box without us doing anything. Secondly, we added a system prompt to the agent. We saw how it responded, without memory. Then we did it with memory. How did it respond? And then now we pointed it to a data source, but a finite data source here, which this overall sample product entity has only 44 records. That's why we are able to simply pass all 44 records without doing any kind of um, cutting down of any records or any attributes or any columns. We are simply able to pass everything to the agent, and the agent is answering perfectly fine. Now the next scenario will be, what if I have too many data? Then what can we do? So that's the next step to this, which we shall be covering in our next session. So with this, I would like to wrap the demo and the session for today. So yeah, I hope you guys had a great learning. Now we can move on to the last part of our session, which is the Kahoot quiz. So Mary, in the meantime, before we move on to the quiz, would you like to, are there any questions in the chat? Yeah, we can. We can definitely edit our previous prompt and generate the response again. Okay, so team, please be ready for the quiz. The first 40 shall be let in to the quiz. Yeah. This is the game pin requesting all of you to please join. We'll be starting with the first 40 participants of our session today. Thank you. Thank you. Team, and to keep you all informed, the swag kits take time to be delivered, and there isn't a straightforward system for us to submit swag kits, so we are just going with the manual approach. So requesting you to please send the relevant information to us, the swag kit winners over LinkedIn. Okay, I see 17. Others, please join. Maybe we can wait for a minute or two and then we can start. Please join with your full name. Only then we'll be able to recognize you and align a swag kit to you. Don't join with your pseudonyms, please. Yeah. You will have access to the recording from the event page. By next week, we'll make sure to upload the recording. Now, similar to this session, we have our next session happening next Thursday, which is more of a deep dive session where we'll be continuing with whatever we saw now and of course how to leverage tools and all that. We will be aligning that in our upcoming sessions of the Agent Workbench series. Okay, let's start the quiz. Okay, let's start. Sorry, I've already started, Mr. Siddharth. My bad. The right answer is AI Agent Builder. With Agent Workbench, you can build enterprise grade agents, while with AI Agent Builder, you can build simple agents, which we saw in the beginning. Well done, Murli, Prakash, Nanda, Rahul, Liz. The right answer is grounding data, which most of you got right. And well done, Murli. Yes, we can orchestrate agents. Although we didn't deep dive into it, we did mention in the beginning that you'll be able to do data governance, orchestration, and also audit the agents with Agent Workbench. Right answer is session ID. Now, session ID, it's not like it should always be a GUID. It can be any unique series of text. So that can uniquely identify every session. There is no process section in an agent. You will find automations. Okay, automation logic data, you won't find process section. Okay, answer is false. Last two questions. All the above. And we are on to our last question of today's session. It can be. So current date time will always be unique. So it can definitely be considered as a session ID. Okay, well done, Preeti. Very well done, Prakash. And a very big shout out to Murli. Great job, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's session. So, winners, and big shout out to Babita and Liz. I know it's a little, the fourth and fifth questions are really not so lucky. Very close. Thank you for the contribution. So, the winners requesting you to please send your email, contact number, swag size, address to us via LinkedIn. I'm pasting my LinkedIn handle URL here. Yep. So Please send your details for us to effectively submit for the swag kits. And you can expect the swag kits maybe in a month or two. Oh, okay. Okay, based on the location, I'll definitely confirm. But thank you once again, everyone, for joining today's session. Have a great day.